Hey guys, welcome to JazzedTutorials. Today I'm going to be showing you a cool cosmic lighting effect. I'm just going to call it that. I really don't know what to call it other than that. So yeah, it's a lot of steps, so I'm going to go layer by layer, whatnot. I've done the tutorial already. I'll just go through it with you guys how I did it step by step, layer by layer. It's just easier than going and doing it from scratch because that would take longer. And I know how you guys don't want to sit through a long video. Alright, so I'm going to start off by using a black background. Now, before we get started, I also want to mention that my canvas size is quite large. It's 1,000 by 1,500, but you can, of course, use a smaller canvas if you like. You'll then have to just alter the size brushes and things we use in the tutorial. But, yeah. Alright, so to start things off, I'm going to make a new layer above my background. And this is going to be a very bright blue dot. And on this blue dot, I kind of gave it a Gaussian blur. A slight Gaussian blur. So go to Filter, Blur, and add a Gaussian blur that you think you like. Or if you don't want to, that's fine too. The effect may not show as nicely, but I just did that. So after I did that with my color, and the color I chose, by the way, is here. This is the blue color I chose. Okay. Alright, and as you notice, I put a big round dot there. I believe it was 1024 for my size, but again, alter that to suit you. And then I hit a mask layer on this. And on my mask layer, also noted that I have a linear dodge set to that, so it's linear dodge for that. And I have masked out that kind of a shape. So do as you will with that. You can make any shape you like, but once it's masked out, that's the effect you get with the blur and all that. If you don't want to add a blur, it's fine, but you won't have it as nicely as it is here. So that's what I've done there. Alright, now let's add another layer above that, and this will be another colored layer. Let me disable that so you can see what I have there. And this is a layer we used, let's grab the color for you so you know what I'm talking about. Hello! Okay. So I have this color here for this layer. Alright, got that? Okay. And I did the very same thing as I did before. I pasted on another dot in various places. I kind of masked it out. I set it to color dodge, but to show you what it looks like, that's what I've done. Yeah, it's just a random dot there. Alright, color dodge that. And I set the fill to 36%, and then I masked that out yet again. And I just masked out little pieces in the top here, over here, so it blends in nicely with the previous layer we just made. Nifty. Alright. Now above this, I added a shape layer. And this is a shape that you have in here. I'll show you right where it is. It's going to be this lovely little circle here. It's called Registration Target 2. Yeah, everybody has this in Photoshop, so if it's not in your shapes, go ahead and load that shape. It's there, I promise you. Yeah. And I used white for my color, by the way, on this one, and I set the opacity down to 10%. Alright, so opacity at 10%, and you get that cool effect right there. Alright, and then above that layer, I added another really cool lighting effect. We're going to disable the layer so you can see what it looks like. And I set it to overlay, but we're going to normalize this. It's a big white dot right in the dead center. And then obviously set that to overlay. And then I have a mask layer. I masked out just a portion of it, so it looks kind of like that. Blends in a bit. Looks pretty cool. Like, I did about 2 or 3, 4 dots just around the edges here. Whatever looks good to you is fine. And then we did the same thing again on another new layer above that. So make a new layer above that. These are all new layers, guys, in case you weren't wondering, but they are. So another new layer above that with another white dot. And I set that one to overlay as well. And I then masked out various portions to get an effect shown like that. Alright. Let's go ahead and make another new layer above that. Yeah, we're making a lot of new layers, guys, so it's going to be layer. You got a lot of layers to go, guys. Alright, and then above that, I took some purple, any kind of a dark purplish hue, and I put 3 dots randomly, as you'll notice right here. And I I used a soft round brush, and I used a very light opacity brush. I'd say set your brush opacity down to maybe 50%, maybe even lower. Anything that's kind of really light. Or if you don't want to set the brush opacity, you can also set the layer opacity itself down to a low percentage, but I just decided to go with the low opacity brush just for easier control. Alright, and then another new layer above that. I added some blue dots as well. I chose a very kind of a bluish hue for that. And I set my fill on that layer to 51%. So choose any dark blue hue you like, whatever blends in. Alright, and why is that layer locked? I don't know why it's locked. Okay. And I set that layer to soft light, as you'll notice. So if you go to normal, you'll see how it's a very blue color. But if I go to soft light, it blends in really nicely. Very cool. Alright. Then I added another new layer. You guys are going to hate me for this. There's so many layers in this, guys. I'm apologizing, but you're going to love the outcome, I swear. Alright. I took a kind of a gray, or black brush rather, and I just put a small little line down there, just to give it some shadow and depth and whatever. And of course, we'll mask that out just a bit to blend it in. And I put pin light for my chosen one. But again, you can really choose anything you like. If you don't want to add this shadow effect, you don't have to, but I thought it looked kind of cool. Alright, okay, next layer. Next layer. This one is set to normal, and this is just another white brush. Just put a couple of dots on the sides here. You can see where my cursor is, just over here. Add some more lighting to this. Alright, now we're going to get into adding our photo. So go ahead and add a photo you like. I am going to add this lovely photo here, because I think she looks pretty radical. Yes. And now, the layers above this, the next few layers we're going to be adding are going to be a clipping mask right on top of this, because we want to have the next colorization only on this person, not on the actual entire photo. So go ahead and add a clipping mask to your next layer. So make a new layer. And this is going to be some little dots of black. So just take some, or dark blue rather. So let me see if I can show you the color I chose for that. Yep, it's going to be this one here. So grab that little dark blue color. It's almost a kind of a shade of black. And just put some, dots all around. A couple of dots here and there on top of your girl. Anywhere you like. Alright, and then make that a clipping mask, obviously. And then we're going to add another layer above that. And this is going to be a color layer. We're going to just, colorize this. So let me make that normal so you can see the color. Alright, we're going to choose this one right here. Alright, and that's going to be, change your blend mode on that layer once you fill it to colorize, or color. And set your fill to 59%. Alright, and then above that we're going to now add a curves adjustment layer. This is also going to be a clipping mask if you didn't already notice on my layers palette. So double click this, and this is what I have. Make a shape similar to what I have shown here. Alright, coolness, coolness. You may have to alter that, of course, because if your photo is a bit bright, you'll want to alter that, but something along that line. Alright, another new layer above your adjustment layer, also noted as a clipping mask. And we're going to add some lovely dots below, just along the line here. One big dot will do. And I set my fill to 94%. And this is just a very dark blue, almost black color that I chose. Any of those hues is fine for that. There's no set hue, just anything of that nature. Alright, and we have only a couple more to go with the clipping mask. We're going to add one more layer above that, brand new layer. Also choose a very nice blue color. Let's see if I can show you my color I chose. Alright, choose something like that. Anything along that hue line is fine. Clipping mask to that. And our last layer that's going to be a clipping mask is going to be just a little dusting of gray/white just above her right there. And it blends in really nicely. Okay, and these are all with the soft round brush. In case you didn't know, but I'm pretty sure by now you knew that, right? Am I right? I hope so. Alright, we only have a couple more layers to go, and then we'll be all set, and you'll be happy. So, we're going to add another color layer. This is going to be a color fill. And this is not a clipping mask, in case you're wondering, and I'm not sure why these are locked. Alright, so on this layer, we have it set to soft light, but I'm going to go to normal so I can show you the color I chose, so you can be all happy and stuff and not be confused. So I've chosen this lovely hue as such here. Alright, double click that. And set your layer to soft light with a fill of 81%. Alright, and then above that, another new layer. And this is going to be also a colored layer. Let me go to normal so I can show you the color I chose. Right, it's going to be this lovely orange hue right there. And you're going to set your fill to 14%. And we're going to select color for our blend mode. Sweetness. Alright, let's unlock this layer. I'm not sure why some of these are locked. I forget why I locked them. I must have locked them for a good reason. Okay. And this is a black layer. And what I did is I masked out just a portion of this. Basically, I made a vignette, guys, okay? I made a small little tiny vignette just along the edges here, as you notice. Blending it in and making it look nice and pretty. Alright, that's also on a new layer. And then above that, I'm going to add another curves adjustment layer. And this is going to be what mine looks like here. Make something along that shape. It also just depends on the brightness of your actual photo that you're using. So go with that. Alright, looks nifty. And I just masked out my curves layer, by the way. Add a mask layer to that. And just masked it out so it kind of fits perfectly. Because if you go here, I'll disable this for a bit. You'll see how it's very black. I just went ahead and brushed it so it looks nice like that. Alright, and we only have a few more layers to go, I promise. So I've added on another layer. Now, you'll notice that this layer here, all these circles I just made with a brush. You could also use a elliptical marquee tool to make these if you want, or you can just be a cool kid and grab a brush, a hard brush of various sizes and make dots everywhere randomly with a white brush. Okay, you can do that. That would be awesome. And then make it look awesomeness. If I disable that, you'll notice how there's more. So I masked that out to blend it in, and it looked pretty awesome. I selected overlay for my color so the white blends in with the background, and that's my awesomeness there. I got 3 more layers to show you, and then we'll be good as gold. So this one here, as you'll notice, it's just, you know, a few more of those dots. I just put these at 17%, but you don't have to add any more if you don't want to, but just for depth, I add some more behind there with a 17% opacity. And the same thing over here. And this here now is another new layer above all of that. I feel like I'm confusing you guys. Am I really confusing you? I feel like I am. Alright, this is an overlay layer. And this is a big white layer. I just took some random brushes. I smudged them as well. I grabbed the smudge tool. Smudge tool, in case you're wondering, is over here. And I just kind of blended it and blurred it and whatnot. So you can use the blur tool or the smudge tool and blur that whiteness in where you see there. And set that layer to overlay, and it gives you a nice like lighting effect there. Alright, last but not least, we're here, guys. We made it the home run. I have an exposure adjustment layer, and this is just going to add some color and make it really contrast and cool. So on your exposure, these are the numbers you need to have chosen. And once you set your exposure layer to that, this is the effect you're going to have. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I know that it was extremely long, and it may have been confusing at some points in this tutorial. And if that is the case, if you're at all confused, comment below, and I'll try and help you out to the best of my knowledge with what I did. But I tried my best to walk you through it to my best ability. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you like this and want to see more stuff like this, hit subscribe. I try and post twice a week. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, concerns, whatever you may have, comment below. Or you can inbox me here. I'll get back to you in timely fashion, I promise. I never ignore. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next week. Laters.